Hello and welcome back to the Lincoln Loco 2. Today we've got a bit of a different episode. We've got quite a few games coming up because we've got two legs of the Carabao Cup Semi Final against Arsenal, and because we're trying to get through this season pretty quickly because we're running out of time at FM19 and we want to try and see us in European football at some point before FM20 comes out. We want to try and get through this season as quickly as possible, but the Carabao Cup semi-final is very important because potentially we go to a final and that could lead to a European place for us at some point. So we want to try and get through both Arsenal games in today's episode, which means we will play Arsenal and then we'll probably have to do some sort of highlight package for Stoke, Burnley and City before we play Arsenal again. It's going to be an interesting one. I'm not entirely sure how it's going to work out yet. But here we go. Anyway, hello, hope you're all doing well. I think first of all, we're going to go through the fixtures since you were last here. And again, quite a few as we're trying to get through this season pretty quickly. So you were last here for the 4-0 win against Watford and the 3-1 win against West Brom. Of course, that unbeaten run going on for a long time. We continued it for quite some time as well. The next game, we played Tottenham, in the Carabao Cup 4th round. And luckily, I wanted them to play a weakened lineup, and they did play a weakened lineup, which allowed Agni and Gustavo to get the goals in that game to make sure we won it. We then took on Derby away from home, and Bizu picked up a hat-trick in that game. He's continued his goal-scoring prowess in this season. I don't understand what's happened to him. I still don't get it. But he scored a hat-trick against Derby, which was really good. November, we had some tough games with Manchester United and Tottenham both coming up. And the first against United, a goalless draw. So we kept a clean sheet, but the first game this season when we haven't been able to score a goal. It was a little bit disappointing not to score a goal, but considering it's taken that long not to score a goal in a game, I didn't mind it too much. We then went away to Leicester and won 2-1. Gustavo and Andreas scoring the goals in that one before we went to, or Tottenham came to us, and Andreas scored just after half-time to secure a 1-1 draw. At this point, we are still unbeaten. If you include cup competitions and you go back to last season as well, I think at this point we are 32 games or competitive games unbeaten, which is mental. And the team that ends it all is Brighton. I mean, of all teams to end it, it was Brighton. I don't quite get how Brighton could do that, but they just outclassed us in front of goal. Chris Hart scored a consolation goal late on, but at that point the damage was done. And we lost our first game of the season to Brighton, but we did pick things back up again against Newcastle with a 2-1 win, with Bizu scoring both those, leaving it to the 93rd minute to get his winner, I should add as well. Aston Villa in the Carabao Cup quarter-finals, a routine win. Again, they sort of played with a bit of a backup lineup, not first team for the first choice lineup, whereas we did. So we won that one 3-1, which was really good. We then played them in the league straight after that as well and won 3-2. So their full strength lineup could only get an extra goal against us, but Bizu, Gustavo and Andreas scoring the goals in that one. A big 4-0 win against Southampton, followed that with Les Payne, Bizu and Gustavo getting themselves on the score sheet. It was 1-0 actually up until the 88th minute, and then we scored our next 3 goals, which was quite good. Southampton just switching off, but that really helped our goal difference out. We then lost our second game of the season to Everton, a penalty that they scored. Bizu also missed a penalty in that game, which I am a little bit concerned about because last season he missed a penalty on the first day of the season, and it basically took him the whole season to recover from that missed penalty. I really hope he doesn't have to do that again because he's been absolutely integral to the way we've been winning and playing this so far this season. Last time out then we had the first game in the FA Cup, the third round against Kidderminster Harriers, a 2-1 win there. Not the best result for us actually considering we're playing against Kidderminster Harriers, but we will take that. Kidderminster in League 2, so they're a decent side in this sort of day and age of the game, but we should be beating them more than 2-1. So that's what's happened then. That's all the games that have happened. We are still second in the table, which is really exciting. Over halfway through the season, and we are still second, but we are 4 points behind Tottenham, level on points with Chelsea and 3 points ahead of Manchester United. Only 7 points ahead of Man City, so really, we're not that safe where we are. We're 10 points ahead of Liverpool, but we could easily drop out at top 4 in the second half of the season if we don't do well. Bizu then has now got 19 goals in 19 league appearances and 21 goals in all competitions out of 24 appearances. So he's still doing brilliantly well scoring the goals, but I still feel that Luis Gustavo is playing better on the ground. He's got 12 goals from 20 appearances in the league, but he's playing as a winger, obviously, and 16 goals in all competitions. I think that is a slightly better return from a winger than the striker, but they're both having absolutely superb seasons, so I can't really slate either of them. They're both absolutely incredible. Obviously, as we need to get through quite a few games in today's episode, we're going to jump straight into this first game against Arsenal then. This is the lineup that we're going to be using with Solanke in goal, a backline of Doherty, Payne, Juliano and Cooks, because Klaasen's picked up an injury and is going to be out potentially for the whole episode, actually, which is a little bit worrying. Hopefully, Cooks will be good enough to fit in with the squad. Agli and Andreas starting the midfield ahead of them with Gustavo, Hart and Chisa as their attacking midfield, with Bizu leading the line for us. Hopefully, is going to be grabbing a goal today because we need him to score some goals, especially as we are taking on Arsenal in the Carabao Cup Semi Final, which we've got to an FA Cup Semi Final. Was it an FA Cup? I think it was an FA Cup Semi Final we got to once before. We lost it, and then we've not got closer since. Like we've never really done that well in the big cups because obviously we have won the FA Trophy and we won the EFL Trophy as well, which is like it's leasing.com trophy this season in real life. But we've won those in the past, but we've never done particularly well in the FA Cup or the League Cup. This time though, we've got to the semi-final of the League Cup, and I think we can go all the way. First highlight of the game then is coming towards us as Cooks puts it into Chisa, gets tackled but is retained by us, and Andreas puts it out to Doherty, who can put a cross in. We know he can put some decent crosses in, but he does get tackled and is left on the ground, I think, because it takes him a while to get moving once again. Arsenal, though, can't really clear it properly, and we're coming back once again. Hart through the middle of the pitch this time. His ball out wide wasn't particularly good, and now we've got a real job on our hands to defend as Chelsea look to come on the counter-attack. To be fair, the high press there has helped us out massively as Bizu intercepts the goal. His missed penalty in the last game, or the previous few games. The last game against Everton, where he missed a penalty in the league, that was. I thought it was going to ruin his form, but it hasn't. I mean, he's been helped out massively here by the goalkeeper, passing it to his feet. Obviously didn't see he was there for some reason or something like that. But Bizu putting it in the back of the net for his 22nd goal of the season in all competitions, putting us in the driving seat of this tie. And obviously it's over 2 legs, so we need to make sure we're doing it we need to make sure we win on aggregate, obviously, as well. But if we win our home leg here today, it'll be a great start, as we've just hit the post. I think it was Bizu hitting the post as well there. So we're the team looking very dangerous at the moment, as Arsenal, on the other hand, coming forward, can't do anything with it. Free kick for us on the edge of the area. Doherty puts it in, but it's headed just over the bar by Hart, unfortunately. But we're the ones having most of the chances. Stat-wise, it has been quite cagey. Not many chances are going to either side, but of the chances that have been created, we've had the better of them. Just before half-time then, Arsenal have got a chance to come forward on the ball. Plavšić now gets it through to their number. Now, you hate to see that, because that was a poor goal to concede. I mean, really, we should be closing Plavšić down here, tackling him, to then somehow get the ball through to their number 9, and he can still get the shot. That was a poor bit of defending, and really, we should have made a few of our chances count. Now, Arsenal, they are a decent side. We've come up against them a few times over the past seasons, and whilst they haven't finished massively higher than us, overall, they probably are a better side than us, and they've gone 2-1 up against us now. Plavšić with a goal. He's looked very dangerous today, obviously assisting one and now scoring one himself. All of a sudden, I was very confident about winning this game, but the way we haven't taken our own chances and the way that Arsenal have taken their chances very well, we've fallen apart a little bit. Chris Hart looking exhausted apparently, so we need to take him off, which is probably quite a good idea actually. We're going to bring on Jordan Adams. Nah, is he actually that good there? Probably not. David Palmer, he might be a bit better player to bring on in that position. David Palmer, will bring him on, the former Celtic man. Of course, this is over 2 legs, this competition, this semi-final tie. But I think away goals do count. And currently, we're not in the best position at all. If we want to go through to the final, we're going to have to be winning at Arsenal's ground convincingly as things stand. But Chisa is currently on the ball right now. Shoots from distance, but Chisa's let me down a little bit this season, all right? When we compare Chisa to how well Luis Gustavo and Bizu have played, I feel like he has let us down a little bit. But as the clock ticks down, perhaps now we are finally starting to lose a few games now. This is our 3rd loss of the season now. Obviously, I mean, if someone told me by January we'd only lose 3 games this season, I'd be biting your hand off. So I'm not really too fussed about it. Although it is a cup game that I want to win, so I'm kind of annoyed about it. But at the same time, we can't knock how well we've played this season. And really, if we're going to, it looks like we're going to finish in the top 4 this season. We're in a very, very good position to finish in the top 4 this season as it stands right now. We don't necessarily need to be winning an FA Cup or a Carabao Cup to get into Europe like we sort of have had to want to do in the previous few seasons. Now then, we've got a few games coming up before the next Arsenal game, so we'll cover them very, very shortly. It's going to be longer than 20 minutes, this video, because, I mean, I'm already on 14 minutes as I'm recording this, and obviously that'll be cut down a bit as well, but to get 3 games in there before the next Arsenal game as well. We're going to have to do quick highlight packages, I think. Obviously, it's January, but I'm not too fussed about making transfers because, quite frankly, what do we change in this squad at the moment? There's not really much they can do much better. Now, we might have to let someone go. I'm looking at contracts here. We're currently in 2038, so at the end of the season, Pomeroy and Brullinger, their contracts end. Now, we can renew Pomeroy's contract because he's English. However, Jefferson Brullinger, he's not getting any international appearances. So at the end of the season, we're not going to be able to renew his contract because with the Brexit rules that we've got, to renew contracts of foreign players, they've got to be playing international football. And Brullinger's not. So either we just let him go at the end of the season or we sell him now. And apparently he's under subject of a bid. Of course, foreign players or foreign teams, they can just offer him a contract now, can't they? So actually, we might let him get at the end of the season for free now. Well, he's going for free at the end of the season to Graminho. So we've not made any money off him. But at least we're going to go to Brazil and have a nice time in Brazil. It couldn't really get much worse, could it? We've lost Brullinger next season, which is a bit of a shame. But now Maurice Agne's out for 2 months with a calf strain. So that's going to really dampen us for the next few games. Borussia Dortmund are offering 36 million up front, and then over a year, £8 million. Then £8 million after 50 league games, £52 million in total. Gosh, do we accept that? Do we accept that? I mean, yeah, he's been class this season. Oh man, but that's £52 million for a player. We could use that. I've stalled on it now. Apparently the board want to offer me a new contract. We'll accept the current vision and we'll accept whatever contract they want to give us. We won't take the bonus. What's our existing contract? 35k. We'll take it all the way down to like 49. Save the club some money and things like that. We need to get looking at left wingers on the transfer market. We need to get looking at wingers. Anyway, next up, Stoke. Half time at Stoke. 0-0. Bizu on the ball then, coming forward over the halfway line. He's taken on the whole Stoke side, puts it over to Chisa. Hart on the ball. Out towards Smith. Smith to put the ball into Chisa. Chisa, tackle, but only as far as Smith. Into Bizu. Bizu, Gustavo. Come on. Brullinger's free kick then. In towards Hart. Off the crossbar. Gustavo, edge of the area. Into Bizu. Into Chisa. Goal. Andreas. Hoof. Bizu. Goal. Oh, so there's a goal for Stoke as well. Brush over that fact. Come on, lads. Defend this. Defend. Why? How? Stoke are 19th. I swear to God. I swear to God. I swear to... Full time. 2-2. And to make it even worse, Cheese is now out. Going to miss tomorrow's game against Burnley. Hopefully, Burnley at home goes a lot better. Half time and... well, it's not going any better, is it? It's 0-0. Hart. Andreas. Still Andreas. It's an own goal, but we'll take it. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Thank you. I can feel a Burnley goal coming. I can really feel a Burnley goal coming. Oh, no worries, lads. There it was. Straight after that. There it was. I just want to point out as well, Burnley are in the relegation zone as well as Stoke are. And right now in the second half, they're running us ragged. Like, we're going to actually draw 2 games in a row against 2 sides in the relegation zone. What's happened to our form? Quite more importantly, what has happened to our form? There's a minute of normal time left. A minute. Palmer, he does nothing with it. And now it's Burnley coming forward. Don't. Lads. I swear to God, if you score now. If you score now. In response to the earlier question, it can get worse. And now we've also dropped down to 3rd in the table. So it's less than ideal. But now, we've got to make a decision on Gustavo. Can't stall it any longer. I think what I'm going to do is... I just don't think we can let him go yet. He'll probably come and talk to us soon about this, and we can try and say, no, we'll get Champions League next season or something like that, because we're on course to do it. Because looking at players that we have got scouted out on the left wing, we've not really finished scouting out players, but players that are interested, there's no one that's, if you look at search by ability, there's no one that's coming in that's going to be better than him. So we've got to reject it. Yep, and now, of course, he wants to talk about it. So let's discuss this, and let's get Bizu actually to say first, can he sort it out? He says I'll have a word with him, but he can't resolve his unhappiness. So let's have a chat with him. He wants to play in the Champions League. Well, listen, lad, end of this season, we will be in the Champions League. And I said, okay, if we fail to qualify for the Champions League this season, I'll let you go then. And I tell you what, he's happy with that. He is happy with that. And now, we've got Man City. And quite frankly, I can only see it getting worse. So we're going to switch back actually for this game only to the CDM position, because I think we need it against City, especially after the results we've just had. So this game against City is actually huge, because if we lose to them, we will lose a lot of ground in Champions League qualification. A lot of ground. And they've nearly scored from a free kick. So we need to make sure we don't lose to them at the very least, to keep that points buffer there for Champions League places. That is what we need to do. Bizu on the ball though, coming forward, puts up towards Chisa, who can't win the ball. Their clearance was a good one, and City coming on the break. Lads, just don't concede a goal here. Come on, before half-time, please grab a goal before half-time. We're not going to grab a goal before half-time, are we? It's going to be a City goal, isn't it? It's going to be a City goal. It is a City goal. Luis Gustavo to Chisa. To Chisa? Come on, right. We're back in the game now. We've got the whole second half to do this now. Or alternatively, we can just lose the game 2-1. That's chill as well. I'm happy with that. I think this is the last time I ever decided to be nice and try and show more than 2 games an episode. Because it's not worked out, has it? I mean, at least we are still in the top 4. Just 4 points clear of City now. And they've got a game in hand. I mean, there's still a long way to go this season. So there's still a long way for us to turn this blip of form. I mean, this has just been an awful month. An awful month. And there's more tough games to come afterwards as well. We sort of finished the season off, though, against... I mean, apart from Tottenham there, these last few games are going to be relatively... Well, they should be straightforward. We have drawn to 19th place and lost to 18th place in today's episode so far. We just need to turn this form around. We need to get out of this little rut that we're suddenly in January. Obviously, the form we had at the start of the season has put us in this position where we are right now, but we've got to consolidate and we've got to sort it out. And we've got to sort it out against Tottenham. And when I say Tottenham, I mean Chelsea. And when I say... I meant Arsenal in the Cup tomorrow, because we need to win something to guarantee some sort of European football in case it all goes wrong, completely wrong. In the meantime, Guangzhou have offered £38 million for Fabian Chisa. 26 up front, 11.5 in the future. When does his contract run out, Chisa's contract? Oh, ages away. He's valued at 35 million. That's not enough money. That's not enough money. Anyway, to conclude today's episode, we've got Arsenal in the Carabao Cup, and we're going to stick with this formation. We used it against Man City, but obviously it didn't work too well against them. But I think we've got to use it against Arsenal because we seem very vulnerable at the moment with the attacking midfielder. So the lineup we're going to go for is Solanke, Doherty, Smith, Juliano and Klaassen. He's back from injury now, which is very good. This is the first game he's going to play. Venturelli in the CDM position with Andreas and Pillinger as... Do we want Pillinger there? I reckon we put David Palmer in there instead. I think that works a bit better. David Palmer will go in there. Gustavo and Chisa on the wings with Bizu up front, who's not scored for a few games now. Worrying. As we head into today's game against Arsenal, though, obviously they're winning 2-1 on aggregate, and I think away goals count. So if we want to win here and go through to the final, because away goals count, we have to win 2-0. So then we're 3-2 up on aggregate. And then obviously that counts anyway, but then they can't win on away goals. If we win 1-0, they'll go through on away goals. But right now, we need to score 3 goals anyway to actually beat them. So today's episode has just been dreadful, hasn't it, really? Dreadful. I mean, Football Manager is weird because we've started the season off like incredibly well and we're in the top 4. And I couldn't explain why we're in the top 4. I couldn't explain why we're playing so well. And now we've only won one game in January, and that was against Kidderminster in the FA Cup. To the point where I don't quite know how or why we're now not winning games and playing so poorly. I can't explain these things. Which does... I mean, is Football Manager just fixed? Like, does it just do this to you? I don't quite know. I mean, it's in the back of the net. I thought somehow that was going to be claw clear, but it wasn't. 2-0 Arsenal. I think we're losing a semi-final again, lads. 45 minutes. 45 minutes to turn this around. We have to go back attacking. We've got to go attacking. Which means that we've got to bring Chris Hart on the field for Venturelli. Although Venturelli gets taken off all the time. All the time because of that. So, we'll take off Andreas and Venturelli can be that ball-winning midfielder. Let's give him 90 minutes at least, maybe. Go on then. Do your worst, Arsenal. I thought this formation change might help us out. It's not though, has it? It's made things worse. I mean, at this stage now, I'm past caring. We're not winning this game. We're not winning the Carabao Cup. The next game actually is against Chelsea in the FA Cup, which I don't think we're going to be winning either. So I think we can sort of kiss goodbye to any chance of winning a domestic cup this season. I mean, are we going to grab I thought we might grab a consolation goal there. Clearly haven't. We've got to do qualification then for Europe because I can't see us beating Chelsea. We've got to qualify for Europe either in the top 4 or by coming 5th. And luckily, the form we've had at the start of the season has put us in a fantastic opportunity to do that. But if we stay in this little bit of a lump of form or this lull that we're currently in, we might miss out completely again. Again, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to miss out for a third time. This season is the third time lucky. We've been so unfortunate and so unlucky the past 2 seasons to not qualify and get European football. What was it? It was a 90th minute West Brom goal, wasn't it? In that 2 seasons ago. I still can't quite explain properly why we didn't get it last season, other than clearly the game doesn't seem to think more than 7 teams can play in European football from a single nation, when actually I think it is possible. This time around, if we capitulate in the second half of the season, I don't quite know what we're going to do. At least we haven't sold our 2 best players in Gustavo and Chisa. At least they're happy to stay at the club for now. So let's quickly brush over today's episode. Let's quickly brush over it. You've seen us play 5 games and lose 4 of them. Oh, you hate that, don't you? Right, next episode then. We've already played Watford and West Brom in an episode, haven't we? So we can't do Watford who are bottom of the table again and West Brom who are near bottom of the table again. We can't do that. So maybe then we go through to Derby and United. Derby United looks good to me. I think we do that next episode. Again, trying to just push through things quickly for this season. But Derby United next episode. Please, can we just win some games? Because can you imagine if we don't win a single game now? I mean, I'm being pessimistic, but hopefully we're better than that. I don't know. Anyway, if you've somehow got some enjoyment out of the past, however long this episode's been, despite the 4 losses that you've seen oh my God, I can't believe 4 losses in today's episode and a draw. Terrible. We're somehow still 3rd in the table though. We're clinging on to Champions League places, but for how much longer? Thank you very much for watching. Drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. And I'll see you next time for some more Lincoln Loco action.